Hello, hi, uh, good afternoon, everybody, and it's nice to be back on live stream today. Last week it was Diwali day, and we discussed about the festivities and design. Today, in this series of talks about architecture education, we are going to talk about the pride of being an architect. Uh, what do you mean by the pride of being an architect? Uh, Architecture, it's a creative profession, and the design that serves people, that serves the society, and that serves the environment. Oh, in that sense, we are demigods. We can proudly say we are demigods. Okay, that pride of creation, pride of imagining something and getting those things done, and the pride of your product or your work, your creation, influencing people, helping people, enhancing people's life. No, these things create a kind of pride for yourself. Okay, so how do we go about it? Like uh, uh, for example, when I design a house for a client, I try to understand his needs, and we provide. It's not only just creating a building that will accommodate that family. Okay, it goes beyond that. We try to understand their uh, psychological and emotional needs as well as physical needs, and we try to satisfy them through the space we create. That will get a fantastic you know emotion and memory in them. Okay, uh, so everybody, even we put ourselves in the shoes of the user, and we try to create spaces. Okay, and the pride of imagining a product or imagining a space and then creating it, and then and we see how on execution, on fruitful outcome of that design, then we see people using it as we anticipated, or sometimes even beyond what we have anticipated. That gives a great, immense satisfaction to the designer. That is the moment of pride, you know. So we feel elated, when we uh, see the space created by us, the building created by us, the product created by us has served its purpose, and it creates such an impact on the lives of people, that elates, that takes you really high, there is nothing to equal that feeling. Okay, this is felt by every architect, maybe as a student, many of the young students may not understand that, but even during school days, what you can feel about this is when you design certain elements, certain decorative elements, or certain things for the events that happen in your college, or you create artwork or installation in the college, that when you see that being executed and being appreciated by people, being used by people, you feel elated, you know that feeling is the greatest, you know that's really worth it. That's the greatest reward an architect can get, you know sometimes. So as I said earlier, uh, sometimes people, we see that it goes even beyond that. People are you know um, so we feel this goes even beyond that. you know. So that is the pride. And as a designer, your original creation, uh, is appreciated, and that pride it cannot be matched by anything else. Um, and again, design is a very subjective thing. Not that whatever you have created will be appreciated by everyone, and not that it will be criticized by everyone. Um, so whatever we create, as designers, as architects, whatever we do, it will be criticized by people, it will be appreciated by people, and some people will react very neutrally. This happens for anything, you know. But uh, the bringing to reality what we have conceived gives immense pleasure. Okay, and it also gives the pride, even if it is a small element in a building, or if it is a small element, it's a small furniture, if it is a small fitting in a building or whatever it is, you know. Even if it is an open space or landscape or street furniture or furniture in a house, interior design, the building, uh, whether it's a public building or religious building or a residence, whatever it is, whatever we have conceived and we bring it out, that the pride is cannot be matched by anything, and the pleasure you get when you see your design being executed cannot be matched by anything. Okay, in that sense, how do architects and architecture students also, like it's doing a building or executing a building or designing and the completion of building, it involves so many people, so many days, and so much of hard work involved with it. How do we cope with that? As a student, when we asked once we asked Dr. D. Doshi, as students, we asked him, how much of time do you take to really design a residence, okay, or design a building? He said for designing he may take 6 to 8 months. He said, okay. Then one of my friends, he asked, then how do you expect these students to design in a couple of months? Okay, within the semester we have to do 2 designs. He said, in the office I have more than 10 projects going on simultaneously. I got to, day in and day out, I got to give the due time required for each of these projects. So I have to equally balance the time, and then I have to handle all the projects in various stages. Maybe initial design stage, then stay during completion, all those things. He said he has got to spend time for all the projects. So he cannot intensely sit down and continuously work. But whereas you students, you don't have anything else to do. You don't have any other familial and economic commitments to be taken care of. So the whole thing, what you have to do is you got to design. That's all. That is what's expected of you. That is what the education demands in architecture. Full time you got to design. You got nothing else to do. Maybe theory subjects you may have to study, assignments you may have to submit, and all those things are there. But the major chunk of time you got to spend for design. So it's not a big deal. That's what he said. Then yes, that's true. We realize that's correct. When you start practice, you cannot be concentrating on one project, complete it, and then move on to the next project. Like that, that's not possible. Simultaneously, you may have to do a lot of things. Multitasking is part of architect's profession. But as students, we are supposed to work for the design. So what happens in the student life? We are given a studio project. It can be a residence, or it can be a school, or it can be a theater, five-star hotel, or a resort, or whatever it is, depending on which semester you are in. You have to go through a certain process of designing. Like you start with your literature study, understanding the various factors that is required, that is to be considered in your design, and your trust area, and on the special aspects of that particular design. So you do a literature study, you understand the spatial needs, and then you come out with a program. Most of the time the program or the spatial requirements, the area requirements are given by the problem sheet. It's already there in the problem sheet or in the design brief. Then you have to understand and the relationship between all those spaces through your literature study, case study, and site visits, and case study visits that help you to understand how these things are functioning. Then you got to start working on it. So when a design is given to student, it sits on your head like what do you call it? It's like a crab sitting on your brain. So it occupies the whole brain. You'll be thinking. You should be thinking day in and day out, night and day. You got to be thinking about how to go about doing this design, how to create a better space for, how to create a better design for this particular project. So that you got to live through that the phases of design. So it's demanding. Of course, it's demanding, and it's periodically valued. So you got to put in effort. It's not that you can get a design like a jiffy. Suddenly you get up some idea, and then you can shout, "Eureka! I got this design. I got it solved." It doesn't happen like that. It's a systematic process you got to go through. Sure, you'll reach the point of Eureka also, but you got to go through in a systematic way how to go about the design, and each progress. It will lead to the next level. It will lead to the next level. A constant effort, constant hard work will lead you to the final result, which you might not have anticipated. It may be totally a different, totally a radical design. It's possible. You will come out with such a kind of design. So it's constant endeavor to improvise on what your thought process, your design thinking, and your pursuit for perfection, or pursuit for a betterment. That will lead to better design. Okay, unless you work hard, you cannot get it. Of course, it's demanding. As I said, there are so many things to be done: single line, double line schemes, and then presentations, and you got to work day and night, late nights on your computer or on your drawing boards. That you should do. How do you manage that? And there is another thing. Sometimes some students nowadays, they try to outsource. Of course, you can outsource. Even in our days, we used to outsource. But what kind of work we outsource? For example, like I'm doing my design for a submission. Then I may ask my junior or my friend or someone to help me out in doing a little hatching or doing a little lettering. Something like that. That simple a task that will occupy a lot of time. That will demand a lot of time, so that you can move on to the next level of doing it. Sometimes, so those kind of small little help you can get your friends. That's possible from your juniors. Okay, and in fact, Maybe you can ask a couple of your juniors to help you out in making a model, okay, for the submission. But most of the time, what happens is all your juniors will also be busy in their submissions. So you may have to work on your own. Okay, but even if you delegate work to your juniors or to some friend also, then the main design, the main project is yours. Doing a couple of Photoshop work or doing a 3D view rendering kind of thing, that maybe some friends may help, but not the design. Design is your baby. You got to do it. It is the what do you call it? That gives you the pride. You cannot delegate somebody else to design. That is not possible. But you can ask your friends, discuss with your friends, improvise on it. Ask him to find, is there any flaw in this thing, and then you can improvise on it. Even this you can ask your seniors. You go through this design, So when we were students, when we were in the hostel, like every senior will barge into your room and then they'll criticize all your designs. So what is wrong? What is right? They'll bombard you with questions. You should be able to defend. You got to rework. After they leave, you may have to crush that sheet of paper and then you have to start afresh. But that's part of your student life. Then you spend nights together and then redesign it, work, solve those questions, find answers to those questions, and then improvise on the design. That is what's expected. And in the final year, when you reach the level of doing your thesis, what they really do is you get a couple of your juniors to work for you, because most of the time, by the time we work for the thesis, the other juniors might have completed their examinations, all things will be over, and they'll be willingly helping you in doing the rendering, doing the Photoshop work, or doing the modeling, model making work. No, they'll be willing to do, but that is your design. You cannot delegate the design to somebody else. You cannot ask the junior to design for you. You cannot ask your senior to design for you. That is not what you are supposed to. Okay? You have to learn. You are here to learn your design. Okay? So that's how. And that pride. This is my design. Whether it's right, as I always say, as any architecture teacher or any architect would say, there is nothing right or wrong about design. It is very subjective. I feel it is this way and somebody else will feel the other way. The basic functions, the basic circulations, the basic requirements, if that is flawed, that may have to be corrected. But in terms of spatial relationships, in terms of other aesthetical sense, and then spatial configurations, it's a logic and it's also subjective. The aesthetical sense and the emotional aspects of design is completely subjective. What I may like, the other may not like. The class teacher may not like. The client may not like. The juror may not like. But the juror may like. The class teacher may not like. Those kind of things, it's all very subjective. So we need not worry about that. If you are happy about what you have done, that is good. But the logic behind the thing, the technicalities or the services involved, the structural systems that you are following, that should be very, very logical. That should be very, very clean. That cannot be very subjective. Okay, and in that way, and whatever I create, that is my design. I take pride in that design. I feel happy about what I have done. Okay. In fact, most of the time, the process of designing is valued more than the product. I have seen many fantastically rendered design when it is executed may not have come out as expected, and I have seen some not much of drawing has been created, not much of images has been created, but the spaces that has been created in reality, it's fantastic. So the end product, that is yours. That pride you should have, even if it is small thing. As I said, in one advertisement where they say, even if it is a kernel, or that is my kernel, even if it is a twisted one, it is my twisted one. That kind of pride you should have in design. That is the greatest thing. That is the greatest thing. And okay, what about inspiring or doing something, inspirations? Of course, there's nothing wrong in getting inspired by somebody's work, or inspired by what you see on the net, or what you see during your visits. Inspirations are not wrong. Okay. That need not be really influencing you too much. There is something called inspired work, and you improvise on, you adapt that into your own work. That is acceptable. But imitation or copy of somebody's is not acceptable. That is plagiarism. Plagiarism is a crime. Okay, you take somebody's work and then grab it as, name it as yours. It's plagiarism. There's no pride in it. Okay, but if you like the way somebody designs, you try to adapt that methodology, that way of thinking. You imbibe that in your design. You do it on your own way. That is acceptable. Okay, so you can imitate certain things. Imitate the way they have done. Imitate the way, the methods they have adopted. But not copy the work of somebody else, or letting somebody else to do your work. That is not right. That is unethical, as well as there is no pride in it. The pride of creation, the pride of the designer is lost there. Okay, so this is what I wanted to talk about. So as a student, most of the time, as part of architecture education, we may have to learn a lot of things. As one of my professors used to say, an architect should be a jack of all trades. He should know what is what. Everything he should know. And he may not be very strong, exceptional in everything. He got to understand his strength and then play with that. And improvise on that. Project that. Develop that, as part of his personality. And wherever he is weak, he got to put in more work to overcome that shortcoming. Okay, and so everybody can identify their talent and then work towards it. Not that every architect are all very good designers, very good presentation makers, or very good visualizers, or very good project managers, or very good problem solvers. But they have little bit of everything, and a particular person will be strong in one particular area. One may be a very great designer. The other, his classmate, may be a very good project manager or organizer. Okay, and somebody else may be very good in the economics, like the economy of design and the profession. The money involved, he'll be very clear about all those things. So you got to balance that. You develop your strength, and work hard to overcome your shortcomings. There is space for everybody. in this architecture profession and education. So you can excel, and your strength will become your signature. Okay, that gives you pride. When somebody he may be one person may be very good in the process of design, one may be very good in making a good presentation, one will be very good in making a three-dimensional models, he'll explore a lot and his way of visualization will be fantastic. One will be very good in organizing things and procuring materials, negotiating things, and then getting things done efficiently. There is space for everything. Okay, and the marks are very simple, and that doesn't really matter. As I always used to say, for the sake of marks, if you are trying to get things done by somebody else or try to copy somebody's work and indulge in those unethical practices, it's not worth it. And as I always used to say, some of the beautiful, fantastic buildings are done by people who haven't completed their architecture or who have passed their architecture as second class. Maybe, of course, a couple of good architects have always been the first, or have stood first in their studies also. Gold medalists are there who have done good architecture. So it's not that only gold medalists do good architecture. Only who attains the first rank, rank student only become good architect. No, it's not like that. Somebody who is academically strong, he ends up as maybe his designs are not much executed, because he's not good in negotiating with people. He's not good in conveying his ideas. He's not good in convincing the people to build his designs. He's not good in selling. He's a very good academic person. He's good in his work, but he's not good in selling. He's not good in convincing. It doesn't really work out. So it's a balance. You find your strength. You can fit into those niche in the field of architecture, engineering and construction. Architecture, engineering, construction is a big, as I told in the previous team also, it's a $1 billion business. There is so much of money involved with it. Okay, and you have opportunities to make money, and you got to go for it, work for it, ethically. And maybe okay, if you may not be a good designer, but you are an architect, you are not a good designer. Okay, but if you are a good pitcher of project. You can negotiate and get projects. Then there's nothing wrong in getting your friends together and you can do a good design, make him do the design, you execute the works. That's also nice to do that. But that can be done in the profession after becoming architects. But that cannot be done in the school days. And still I'm telling you, even if 2 or 3 architects are working together as partners, everybody pitches his idea. He tries to get his idea done. And when one's idea is appreciated accepted by others, that goes. In the next project, another person's idea is accepted and it goes ahead. So everybody gets a chance. There is possibility for that. But that pride of conceiving something and then getting those things executed, that's unsurpassed. This I wanted to share with everybody, with students, with staff, and with professionals. It's all there. So getting inspired is not wrong, but plagiarism is wrong. Delegating works is not wrong, but copying or getting your works done by somebody else is wrong. Okay, even in the profession, it's like that. So this is about the pride of a creator, the pride of a designer, the pride of an architect that I wanted to discuss about in this episode. So I'm happy. Okay, the rest of the things we'll discuss in a later day after tomorrow. We'll have another streaming. We'll discuss something else. And okay, bye. Have a good time. And welcome to Archidesign Talks. Come back again. Here we'll talk anything and everything related to art, architecture, environment, and design.